life, everybody. My name is Glitch Chick, and today I'm going to be talking about my impression of Little Misfortune, the game, which is by far one of the most bizarre games I have ever played. Which isn't to say that it wasn't also one of the cutest characters I've ever had the chance to play as, because Little Misfortune here is adorable, and she definitely gives off some Spy Family Anya Forger vibes. I mean, look at this face right here. I think if you've seen that anime, you can kind of understand what I'm getting at. Then before I get into my official review of this game, looking at the characters, the storyline, and how fancy I managed to make everything, I do want to send a big thanks to Just Tues, who actually gifted me this game for Christmas. I had a wonderful time playing it on stream, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the opportunity to play this game, and I hope you also had a wonderful Christmas. But for everyone watching this video, please be on the lookout for the other games that I was gifted. I will be reviewing them as well. But for today, let's get into Little Misfortune. If you didn't already know, Little Misfortune is rated as a casual indie adventure game on Steam and has the mature rating as well. It is developed and published by Kill Monday Games and has a very positive rating overall. From the beginning, we are introduced to our main character, the adorable and innocent Little Misfortune, who unfortunately has grown up in a very depressing life situation in which her father is abusive and her mother is an alcoholic, and neither of them seem to care for her very much. At the same time, we are introduced to a disembodied voice that we later find out is called Morgo, who lures Little Misfortune into a game with him about choices, hoping to eventually capture her soul at the end of it. Morgo essentially poses himself as a friendly guide to help Little Misfortune through this dark time in her life, but inevitably leads her to her death. This trusting little girl looking for love and with a strange fetish for foxes decides to go along with him and exit her house.
I'm going out to play, Mommy!
But of course there's no need to worry, not in a town filled with missing children. No, we'll be fine. Along the way, we're faced with a lot of decisions which seem very simple, like do we want to play with the puppy or do we want to free the puppy? And of course, me being a little naive as to what this game really entails, I chose what I thought would be the best choices.
Ah, that's both. Okay. Oh.
I was awakened to the reality of my choices very quickly, and I was even more disturbed by the scenes that we encountered with Little Misfortune along the way. The crazy situations Little Misfortune would get in, from being kidnapped ravens to being drugged by horny hamsters, really made this game experience unique, surprising. Everything was completely unexpected, and also a little depressing sometimes because you have to remind yourself that you are this tiny, small little girl experiencing all these horrendous things. I think I assumed at the end of this game that Morgo really fed off of negative energy because along the way we could collect heart pieces, and every time we did make a decision that led to something visibly bad, our Little Misfortune would get sick or would get sad, physically ill, kind of signifying that we made the wrong choice. This game made making choices hysterically fun and frightening. There were a few parts of the game along the way that did confuse me a bit. For example, when Little Misfortune comes in contact with these ghost children that she's constantly seeing. I do know that they are some of the other children that have been kidnapped, but why they were able to interact with her was very strange for me to understand because I assumed that Morgo had already taken all of their souls, but this one in particular kept showing up in different cases, but he couldn't help us, and we could only see Morgo essentially taking him away from us. Hito, who you see seated across from Little Misfortune, is constantly also serving us a warning, not only beware the consequences, but he repeats this phrase, which I believe is in Japanese, Kiri wa doko desu ka, which is probably awful pronunciation, but it seems to mean where is the fog? And after researching this while I was streaming, people say that it refers to Sineir City, which is the place we hope to take Little Misfortune instead of letting her go with Morgo. What really intrigued me about this storyline was the accompaniment of all of these beautiful video game scenes that we encountered at different points along our ride with Little Misfortune. Two that I liked in particular were actually this cult scene. Well, it feels cultish to me because of Benjamin's symbol on the ground. But this divide right here between the real experience that she's having and the potential world that Morgo is in was beautiful to see. They also include short clips that you can see based on your choices. Like when I made Misfortune go through the haunted house at the carnival she went to, and they had built in a whole carnival scene with her going through the ride. I thought that was such great attention to detail and made the game that much more enjoyable to see her face react as she went through this horror ride. To my surprise, they had even included a literal interactive minigame within this game in order for you to win prizes to learn about the different options that you had going forward in the game, like talking to the fortune teller, winning a golden chocolate coin, and another rock pet. And to do so, you had to play the carnival games and win tickets, and they had this one. And when I tell you this is one of my favorite games at a carnival or like a arcade anyways, so I played this over and over and over again. I made sure to get all the tickets possible and played it even an extra time or two just because I thought it was really fun. The last thing I wanted to point out in this game that was both fun and disturbing was the fact that little Misfortune, in all her innocence, would sprinkle all of the dead things that she encountered or horrible misfortunes that she would encounter with glitter, which was super cute from the idea that this is a child and this is how she makes the world seem good in her eyes, but also really dark because everything is dead or gross or disturbing that she's sprinkling glitter on, and it's just the idea of what has happened and what is this girl seeing and how is she able to make such a good scenario out of all of this. But you keep sprinkling glitter, Misfortune. You keep doing it! Now let's get into the crazy ending that this game had. This game also has multiple endings, so I'll show you both because I got the one that was not considered the best, and I did end up going back and looking on YouTube to find what the best ending actually was, and I'll react to that as well. So I called the ending from the very beginning. I just want to point that out. I knew from the moment she left the house and there was a road there, I was saying she's gonna die on the road, right? They keep asking you to cross the road to start the adventure, and when you cross the road right here, watch what happens.
Look to the left, look to the right. Any course? No. Okay, I'm going.
I figured that she was dead right here and now, and then the fact that we go back to the normal world really set me off. I was like, this is definitely like an alternate reality kind of deal. We're being tricked. And that carried with me for the rest of the game. At the very end of the game, you are forced to leave the house once more. And this time you're walking past not only the ghost version of your mother, but you also walk past your own corpse. And this is when I realized that it was right at the beginning that we had died. We had died and entered Morbo's crazy game. This made my heart hurt for little Misfortune so badly because I thought that maybe I could still save her by beating the game in a sense, and that she would come back to life or she would be returned to her body or whatever. But when I saw this and I saw Benjamin come to take her to what he thought was like the good place, I was like, no, there was never a way to save her, and I was crushed. Now the ending I got, although it's not the most perfect ending, I did get the dog! Oh, I was just glad that the dog was also going to heaven with me, or Sinner City, however you say that. Now, when I rang this bell, I didn't have enough crystals to fill up the entire tree. Unfortunately, I made some bad decisions because they were fun or they were funny, and I totally understand that I didn't get the perfect ending because I couldn't light up the tree. I think it was worth it to see some of the more fun cutscenes. I was glad that we could help little Misfortune reach the end of her journey. Even though it looks very scary and dark, I'm sure Benjamin the Fox had the best intentions bringing her here, and that she can rest peacefully. And so that was the end of my ending Now let's go ahead and take a look at the second ending, which is the best ending, because I thought it was a little messed up, to be honest. If you did end up getting all of the stones to light up the entire tree, the gift of eternal happiness that was promised to you fakely by Morgo actually becomes a real thing, and we do have the ability to give that to our mother, who we bless because she is still alive. What is odd to me is that we give her this eternal happiness, and she literally just lost her daughter that same day, but now she is content and happy. I understand that this took a very immediate effect. It was also just a little uncomfortable because now she can be truly happy after her daughter has died. Overall, I absolutely loved this game, and I highly recommend it to anybody that has kind of a darker sense of humor and doesn't mind the darker topics addressed in this game. The art is amazing, the choices are really fun, and it definitely keeps you entertained throughout the entire game. And you know what, if you played this, or if you're going to play this, let me know what endings you get and what you think of it as a whole. But thank you guys for watching. This is the end of my review. I hope you all take care of yourselves in the new 2023 year. Eat good food, drink water, go travel a bit, and make good choices. Happy New Year!